Alright, so let's see what awaits us on the arena planet. Mukow. And yeah, some of the animations of Ratchet and Clank exiting and entering the spaceship are basically the same as in the original trilogy. Again, I like that kind of touch. Some of the other games will not retain that for, different kind of reasons, which is, understandable to some degree. But, I like the idea of the team at least trying.
I will say, for whatever critiques we do have about this new era, I can at least believe that this change is genuine and not just some half-hearted attempt to make it cool with the new generation to the point where it feels like it abandons what made the original great completely.
Yeah. Alright, time to get a new armor set. This is actually not too bad, so let's give it a look. There you go.
Looks more like what a bit like what he wore when he was working for the Galactic Federation.
It's more of a full set without having to be the too edgy for you armor, basically. Honestly, the whole changing chamber, cylinder kind of thing, yes, it was present also in the second and third game, but it reminds me a bit kind of how Dead Space treated the armor change. Anyway, the gimmick here is that it's, again, taking more cues from Spyro. It's kind of a twisted parody of Dragon Shore, believe it or not, where you have to... Tachyon wants you to actually collect a bunch of mini statues of himself to progress, and a lot of things are deadly theme park attractions. Also, it's raining constantly and I don't know why.
As it looks dramatic that way.
Also, I guess they wanted to showcase, the performance even with the rain particles, I guess.
I feel like we saw games as early as the PS1 or PS2 managed to pull that off too. Or I guess the idea is to show the raindrop what's closer far to the camera is what you mean?
Or at the very least just for this console, because again, just because you do it once in the past, that doesn't mean that, you don't have to, or it's automatically valid for every subsequent one. It's kind of the same reason why the PSP sometimes did have still a couple of particle effects to showcase how things went. So, yeah.
Well, it's okay. With all this rain, there's plenty of fire to go around too, it seems.
Oh boy, rain and electricity going around. I can't see any way this could go wrong.
Thankfully, Ratchet is, thunder-proof for now.
Yeah, it's not just that. You could electrocute the entire vicinity. Ratchet would have committed mass murder.
I mean, to be fair, we kind of established that at least a couple of characters in this franchise are war profiteers. Are you even surprised?
But they were not the main protagonists. It's like Yoshi committing tax fraud. Ratchet commits mass murder.
Next, we're gonna have Blinks the Time Sweeper committing arson.
I mean, with how much he's been neglected by his company, I hope he hasn't gone insane already.
Yeah, Sonic committing property damage, Mario committing theft, I guess.
Hey, look. Now, in Sonic's defense, he was illegally detained by the government and had to escape, and a lot of that destruction was on the gun truck driver.
I thought
you were going to say in their cars.
I thought you were going to say that it was actually instead Shadow and Sonic was blamed by that. Then again,
it's a crazy taxi.
When again, as one of Jet's skits actually show, apparently Sonic did commit a proximal crime, and the only one that he didn't was illegal parking.
See, even Sonic respects the rules of the road.
When he's, but yeah, he respects it because he doesn't even know they exist.
Actually, he does. He has his license and everything.
To drive what, a go-kart?
To be fair, yeah,
Quiz.
I wouldn't
He
count.
has a plane.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I guess that, but I wouldn't count the racing games as proof, definitive proof that he has a license, because in all of these, in a couple of these at least, there's also SpongeBob involved, and notoriously, he definitely is not qualified to drive a vehicle.
Counterpoint: Frontiers actually does canonize some of the racing games, since Dodonpa was mentioned.
Which game is tied to that?
Team Sonic Racing.
Okay.
Well,
I keep forgetting that one had a story mode.
That's the well, he probably canonized the toilet roll that Sonic used to wipe his ass at one point.
No,
okay.
Because Chronicles is still, too radioactive to be canonized.
Yeah, okay, look. Now, to Influence credit, I feel like people use his references as a buzzword because, yes, there are references in Frontiers, but a lot of those are references that are given in passing or if you're idle. Shoot, I've tried to get a lot of those references, even with the settings cranked up for Sonic Talking, and I haven't gotten those. I feel like people are mostly going off of compilation videos which group them together.
Not to mention, this is the kind of thing that I was, at least personally, I was actually demanding that the franchise would have done, since Unleashed, and this really feels the whole after you get what you want, you don't want it song going full force.
I know a lot of fandoms like that. Wrestling!
Also, goddamn, I guess Tachyon just decided to take a cue from the Riddler in Batman Arkham City to construct some of his shit. What the hell?
It's green and everything. Holy cow!
So this is what the people of this universe do when they've got too much time on their hands.
Ow!
Build circular spinning things of death.
All right, what's our prize?
Some kind of boots.
Shrinking boots.
We'll have to see how it works.
Nah, they look more like
God, it's the jet
boots.
No, but they shrunk so he could fit them in his bag.
And much like in the classic tetralogy, they still suck because they force you to careen into the closest, bottomless pit. So
Wait, look, it looks cool though.
More often than not, I feel like if you're gonna put that kind of move in, you gotta at least have it be like Sonic and let it act as kind of an additional attack.
I can tell that the next game actually will have finally a decent pair of, jet boots. So I can tell that it will take them took them this many games, but Insomniac finally managed to perfect the formula with that. Rarity, I don't think I mentioned that much, is not too difficult to farm, in this game. So if you're, potentially fear that you don't have your weapons upgraded that much, you can always come back to another planet and just do a, victory lap for the sake of farming a bit more.
Seems simple enough.
And if I recall correctly, some particular perks to some weapons do allow, to have the enemies drop some raritanium on their own, even if they normally don't. Anyway, this weapon is a bit familiar because it's the one that releases a drone that blocks immediately onto the target and then, hits it directly. If I recall correctly, this weapon was in PlayStation Gladiatorial. Most of the arsenal that Ratchet had in that was based around cracking time, but I think it still incorporated a couple of things from this.
Also, question: does the beat sometimes sync with the level soundtrack? Because
No,
right there when you use that disco one,
the Groovitron basically just produces its own music beat.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering if it adapted itself to that because it sounded like it surprisingly fit in well with
Maybe
the
it
music
does
of the
during some
level.
of the boss fights, but I'm not entirely sure. I
I
can
guess
tell you, like
maybe
I
it's
said,
just-
that every single model in the game does have an animation tied to being forced to dance to the Groovitron, so it's a
I
good
guess
thing
maybe
nobody
the
uses it against Ratchet. Hint.
I guess maybe the beat is general enough that it sounds like it can flow well with any of the levels' music.
Especially because it overtakes a beat.
That's clever. I guess if I were composing, I probably would have made a remix for each different level here and there, but yeah, I get it if it may not have been in the budget or programming.
It's also because, again, being based on, Strobe Light Disco Ball, they go with the whole theme of 60s, music, so they just have that by default.
I was wondering if more so they give each level's music a bit of a disco remix, kind of like what some mods for Sonic 3 and Knuckles did for Super Sonic, basically.
No.
That's alright.
If anything, I get what you mean. It's more of a case of how, for example, Nier Automata has a dynamic switching between the regular, the instrumental version of the level to the vocal one to the 8-bit one when acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, much like in the second game, Tachyon wants for you to actually work your ass, towards the, to get to the arena. Thankfully, we're almost there.
I wonder, what would be a villain's reaction if we died on the way to whatever they have planned?
I mean, it would be fitting for the evil overlord list, constructing something that actually worked.
Yeah. It's sometimes I wonder if villains would actually be sad if the hero didn't make it, though.
Well, to be fair, isn't that kind of the reaction that Eggman had in Sonic Adventure 2, while, giving a farewell to Sonic, believing he has killed him, he was disappointed that it was that easy. Anyway, that's the disguise that Ratchet has for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our guest of honor.
Qwark, please tell me you've been captured and are being forced to do this.
Emperor Tachyon.
Yeah, there we go.
Let the battle begin.
At least the good news is that because, he's in that position, Qwark is gonna be the commentator for the arena fight. This one is not mandatory, but after this you can actually do the standard ones, to farm bolts and fight exclusive enemies.
Anyway, in Adventure 2, Eggman's thing was more so that he was putting on a bit of a solemn face to show respect to Sonic in his dying moments. No, if you actually read his previously on section right before he's about to fight Tails, he's actually ecstatic, gloating about how Sonic is now just floating he's just floating chunks in space now, so Eggman was not
one of
sad
the constant
about that.
thing instead of potentially being altered by the original English translation of the game.
To my knowledge, yes, those ones are on par. That being said, though, what I do wonder is more so, Eggman's clearly gunning for Sonic. and he wants Sonic to get there ASAP during the unstable world. During the crazy gadget level. Though it does leave me wondering, did he want Sonic to die during Crazy Gadget? Like, on the one hand, if Sonic dies, good for him, but uh-oh, there goes the Chaos Emerald.
Well, I guess considering how high and mighty he thinks of himself, he thought he could just, retrieve it on the way. And to be fair, the level happens immediately after the cutscene where it's revealed that Advent was spying on them. So, as I mentioned during the commentary, I think he did still knew in advance that the Emerald was a fake.
I've always taken it that he knew that there was a fake, he just didn't know which one was the fake, though, hence him, getting that out of Tails.
Anyway, most fight against these frog with guns. Let's see that dance.
From what Digimon game do you hail from, sir?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, Jesus, this is straight up, mega level. Okay, no, I think super, the intermediate stage.
I think he could go for either Super or Mega, honestly, but...
That's also because towards the end, or at least of Adventure 01, power scaling became bullshit for Digimon because of stuff like Manyangemon and Angewomon being able to beat Piedmon on their own because, Angel Digimons are busted on their own.
Oh, let's not forget how busted fusions were, too.
That was Adventure 02,
You
though.
remind me of me when I was a young fighter. Only shorter and less strapping.
Qwark, do you mind telling us what you're doing working for Tachyon?
Yeah.
Oh, just a little thing I like to call saving the universe.
Sure.
How lovely.
There I was, surrounded by Tachyon's minions, perched on the brink of certain death, staring into the icy precipice of the inevitable. I knew I had to take action. I engaged my foes, channeling days of kung fu classes and dispatching my crouching kitten style with lethal precision. But alas, these rock-hard pecs and unbridled machismo can only hold out for so long. After destroying 2,000 of them, a lucky shot rendered me unconscious. For the safety of the good citizens of Qwark, I swore allegiance to Tachyon's army and became his confidant.
For the sake of the people,
Yay.
right. How
Of
noble
course,
of
Which
you.
means you used your powers as a world-class suck-up to save your own hide.
Basically.
Little column A, little column B. Here, take this.
Well, at least
I'll
Qwark's
explain
getting a
everything.
lot better at being able to
The
admit
optical
it.
relay is damaged, but maybe you can find a ship to play it on.
Great! Quit messing around and get over here! I have boils that require
Ew.
lancing.
Coming, Your Excellence. Pray for me.
No, we won't.
No, Qwark. You look like you're just where you belong.
Pray for yourself, you're pretty good at that.
Anyways, mentioned that the disguise that Ratchet has is called Mustachio Furioso. Don't ask.
I feel like...
And this particular gadget that you acquired is the helipad, which allows you to move platforms like that. Yes, Jova?
Maybe it's a Mandela effect, but I recall seeing the disguise Ratchet wore as, like, concept art in something previous.
Okay, well, keep in mind, it's just a pair of, goggles and mustaches a la Groucho Marx, so it's nothing too particularly, innovative. So...
Oh, I know, I just feel like I saw that as concept art for
I don't
something in one of the
particularly
previous
remember
games.
that, but it may be possible.
That's
yes,
it!
Clank, I can't stop putting me there. How could this be?
All right.
It appears
Let's
we were
find out
caught
what
in the
Tachyon's
space
up to.
between spaces, Ratchet.
Oh, hi.
Greetings, inferior beings of Polaris. Does your life lack a sense of purpose? Do you constantly worry about finding steady income? Do you like killing stuff? Then
Oh,
join
boy,
the
do
Imperial
I.
Army and aid me in my humble quest for
Thanks.
galactic domination. Here you'll travel to new places, meet interesting people, and execute them in the name of me.
Well, he's very honest with his advertising.
Interesting people.
Why, yes, I did, celebrity hero Captain Qwark.
That sounds terrific. Tell me more.
It's simple. Somewhere in this galaxy is the filthy Lombax secret responsible for the Kragmite defeat. As an official Tachyon trooper, your job will be to ravage every planet until it is found. Leave no stone unturned, no rebel spared. Exterminate anyone who stands in your way!
Daleks would be all over
All
it.
for a tidy salary and competitive benefits package.
Clearly, he's
all
mad
that and
because
travel
whatever the
too?
Lombaxes did robbed his throat of its vocal cords, and now he has to speak with a voice
Our
filter.
spies have learned that the secret may be hidden here on this remote moon base. If you sign up by tonight, you can join in on the raid.
Emperor Tachyon is an equal opportunity oppressor.
Emperor? Who the fuck made a typo in the subtitles?
Oops.
Do you think this Lombax secret
Qwark
could be
probably
the
did
weapon used to
subtitles.
vaporize the Kragmites?
Whatever it is, we need to get to
Gee,
it
I
before
wonder,
Tachyon
is it a
does.
giant gun that can help blow them up again?
No, actually. But surprisingly enough, it's not. But to be fair, we already have the Rhino in games like these. Another BFG is not, if it's plot relevant, is not particularly, useful. But it is something that will be a MacGuffin for the entire future saga. So there is that. So tune in for the next part, where we actually reach these space stations scattering an asteroid belt. See you for that.
Ciao.
See ya.